A few sunny spells. Tonight will be mainly dry also, with lowest temperatures of 8 to 10 degrees. That's all from Highland Radio News for this evening. Our next local bulletin will be tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock. Until then, good evening.
Highland Sport is brought to you by Michael Murphy Sports and Leisure, now stocking the Donegal GAA Western Range at michaelmurphysports.ie.
Very good evening and welcome along to the home club of Jim McGuinness. We are here tonight in Naomh Conaill to preview the All-Ireland semi-final, which of course is coming up this Sunday when Donegal take on Galway and look to return to the final for the first time in 10 years. Coming up on the programme tonight, we're going to be speaking with a former winners back in '92. Anthony Malloy is with us and Tony Boyle as well from the neighbouring parishes of Ardra and Dunloe. We'll hear from 2012 winners who were part of that brilliant team under Jim McGuinness that took the All-Ireland 12 years ago. Dermot Brick Malloy is here, Leo McClune is here as well, and we're also going to speak to two stalwarts of the club. But listen, we are delighted to be here tonight. We're delighted to be on the road. We're delighted to be following Donegal at this time of year, and there's a brilliant buzz around the county, and there's a brilliant buzz in Naomh Conaill as well. We've got a packed clubhouse here, and as we look out the windows, we've got Ardra under 8 girls playing Naomh Conaill under 8 girls. So delighted to see the young ones out on the field and showing the spirit of the GAA. But we're here to look forward to a huge occasion, and if you're tuning into Highland, or indeed you can nip over to our social channels on Facebook and YouTube. We're also streaming live as well, and if you are watching, you will see two stalwarts of the club beside us. We've got Chairman Peter McKelvey and we've got Seamus O'Malley. Good evening, gentlemen. You want to just reach for the mic there?
Two very worried gentlemen.
Don't worry, we're not going to ask you to sing, Peter. You're okay. But I might start with the man beside you because he's got a Galway top on him.
That's fine.
Yeah, and as we were coming into Glenties, into the parish this evening, the first thing that stood out for me was this big Galway flag on the right side of the road.
It was.
And there was a Donegal flag there as well.
It was, side by side. Yep.
But I think you've spent more time of your lifetime in Naomh Conaill than you have in Galway, Seamus. Would that be fair enough?
Yeah, that's right. I came to Donegal in '77, believe it or not, another lifetime ago. Been here since. So actually longer in Donegal than I was in Galway. But it's hard to break your ties with your home.
Are you surprised the flag's still up?
Hmm?
Are you surprised the flag's still up?
It's not too bad now. It's only up about 3 days. So
he has good neighbours.
Yeah. I have another 3 days to go yet. We'll see how I manage now. Yeah.
Well, listen, you're a bit divided this weekend, are you?
Say that again.
Are you a bit divided this weekend?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like obviously, John plays with the club and big Donegal follower.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so. You know, over the years now, it's always been Donegal, you know, ever since I got involved with the club here, you know. It's a wonderful club, and we've had so many people representing Donegal, and really, I suppose your heart is in Donegal at this stage, but still, when it push comes to shove, you know, it's going to be tough.
You're going to win either way.
I'm going to win either way, absolutely. As Jim said last Sunday in his press conference, you know, either himself or Porrick are going to be in the Iron final, and that's good enough for him.
Okay.
You know, so, yeah.
Do you have any inside information from the Galway camp?
None whatsoever.
Because we are hearing nothing from Donegal. We are hearing nothing from Galway.
No.
So we just thought maybe you might have a connection down there.
Absolutely not. I was on to home there last night to see could I find out anything that I could tell you. But no, not hope. No. Nope.
Chairman of Naomh Conaill, Peter McKelvey, delighted that you're here, Peter. This is it's a huge year for the club. Obviously, Jim back at the helm, and I have a list here of so many members from the club involved. I'll give them all a shout out before we chat, will I?
No bother. Yeah.
Kieran Thompson, Jack McKelvey, Oran Doherty, Kevin McGettigan, Charles McGuinness, all in the playing personnel. Jim McGuinness, the manager. The backroom team, Marty Boyle, Patrick Gill, Joe McCluskey, the kit man. Also the doctor, Charlie McManus. and the man we mentioned already, well, we mentioned in a preview piece, actually, we're doing a bit of slagging, so we were. Tommy Devine, who's actually from Killygordon, but he's a member here, I'm told.
That's right.
So the big contingent in Naomh Conaill.
Big, well represented.
Yeah.
Before I reply to that, I would like to welcome yourself, Oisin, and the team from Highland Radio to Naomh Conaill Clubhouse here, the Davy Brennan Memorial Park. We're delighted to have you, and hopefully you'll be back again.
We're delighted to be here, and I can tell you, if we do go all the way, we'll be back in Naomh Conaill. How does that sound?
That's not a problem.
I'll hold
the
you that
door is
there.
always open.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Yeah.
listen, but there's a brilliant buzz around the club at the minute. And
There
the
is.
county, but more so around the club as well.
Yeah, well, we have a big presence, as you said there, with the county team, obviously, with Jim and his own backroom team, but even our own players that are involved. And yes, it has brought a buzz back. We've had that buzz for a while here now. We've been lucky this last 10 years. We've had a good buzz in the club. Maybe 20 years, but anyway, it's going well. Nothing to do with me now. There's a good team around us here.
And you need that. You need a good team.
We
of
need a
people,
big
yeah.
team, and I'm probably doing the lesser work. Everybody else is doing the work, and I'm just supervising.
Well, listen, everybody's putting in a huge effort, so they are. But club and county wise, certainly Naomh Conaill are to the fore of what's going on at the moment. And when things are going good like this, Peter, you have to enjoy them because they don't come around very often.
You have to enjoy it, but you have to keep the foot down on the pedal all the time too. At underage is very important here, and we're very fortunate that majority of our players are involved at underage here in the club, and that is a huge benefit. You know, that was something I've been involved in the club now for a long time, I'm not sure how many years, but that never happened before. Players played, and that was it. You didn't see them to the following game. Now they're all involved at underage in one part or another, and that is a huge advantage to the club because players look up to them. They're not looking up to me. They're looking up to the players, the adult players, and they work for them.
Okay, back to Sunday. How's Sunday going to go, Peter?
Sunday is very hard, and I know we all would like to say that yes, there'll be no problem. Sunday it'll be a very close game because Jim and Porrick are friends. And they know one another for years through football, and they're wise enough, and it'll just be a battle of wits, and a look of a ball or a wrong decision or something limited like that can probably change the game. Yeah. You'd be a brave person to bet either way.
Okay. How about you, Seamus?
Yeah, it's hard to call it, you know. Porrick, Joyce is he's a smart guy. He's been around a long time. He's a footballer, so he understands football from a player's aspect. So really hard to know how they're going to approach that game. You know, it's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah. Just finally, with you, were any of you surprised how quick this turnaround has happened with Jim? From where we were, if we go back 12 months, to where we are sitting now?
If you want an honest answer to that, yes, we're all surprised. Promotion probably would have been our first aim. One in Ulster was definitely a great achievement. After that, there's a bonus. And we have to, there's no point in thinking otherwise. From last year, we were all low, and you know, it's a big turnaround.
Yeah, huge turnaround. Well, listen, gentlemen, many thanks for joining us tonight. As again, we're delighted to be here. And we wish you the best of luck with the weekend. As we said earlier, Seamus, you're in a 1-1 situation here. You're going to be happy on Monday morning.
Seamus can't lose.
You can't lose.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, no, once again, thanks, Oisin, for coming to Glenties, and we definitely hope to see you back again.
Things go according to plan, we'll be back. So there you go. That's give him a round of applause. Your club chairman, Peter McKelvey, and your club stalwart, Seamus O'Malley. And we're just going to swap around a couple of seats because we're going to ask our next two guests to make their way up the front. Just to remind our listeners, you can, of course, tune Highland's Way this coming Sunday. We'll have the build-up from 3:30, and then the full match live from 4 o'clock. You'll not miss a thing on Highland this coming weekend. And we are here at Davy Brennan Park in Naomh Conaill to talk to a couple of former All-Ireland winners. And up next, we've got two men that were there in 2012 and done it under Jim. Two men that played with Jim and under his management, of course, at club and county level. Dermot Brick Malloy and Leo McLean. You're closest to me, Dermot, so we'll start with you. I'll ask you the same question and finish off with the two guys. Does it surprise you where we are at today under Jim McGuinness, given where we were 12 months ago?
I was a wee bit surprised with Peter's answer. Not one bit, to be honest. When Jim McGuinness comes into any dressing room, whether it's in Naomh Conaill or down the country or with Donegal now, he just straight away puts a belief into a team that they're capable of things that maybe they don't think they're capable of. So not one bit surprised at all. I think the players were there in Donegal. I think it was just a matter of getting the right man in. And when Jim's name got announced, like, it was just such a big boost to the county. And you could just see the belief growing and growing. Even throughout the league, you could see the performances were coming. Obviously, the Derry game, no fluke, went out against Tyrone, done the damage again. And to win an Ulster Championship, at this stage, it probably is bonus territory. But wasn't one bit surprised that Donegal got promotion or won an Ulster Championship under him, you know.
Yeah. What is it, Leo, that makes Jim McGuinness so special? You've dipped into the management, so you've taken a county team, you know what's involved in it. What is it about Jim McGuinness that he can get so much out of a group of players that if you asked them to run through a wall, they would?
Yeah, I suppose Jim, obviously, his record speaks for itself, and I think really it goes back to the old cliche. He really does instill the belief in the players through, various ways, like, even game plans, down to fine details, training regimes, recovery. He has all the boxes ticked, which, backs up and helps him make them players believe that we can do this, and they build that confidence and belief builds as the year goes on, and the more wins and success they get, they really do, start to believe, right, this man is talking sense here, we can do this, let's row on behind him. And I suppose the proof is in the pudding so far, and the year's far from over yet. Yeah,
and it's a different style of football now compared to when you guys were playing with Jim between 2012 and 2014. Obviously there was that ultra defensive football that we've seen in 11, but it has evolved so much, and Jim McGuinness seems to have the right recipe now with the modern day game, so he does, Leo.
Yeah, definitely. He's fine-tuned a lot of different things. A lot of things are similar also. That transitional game, that speed in the transition from defence to attack is still a big thing, and I know he really has made that even better in the past lot of years. So a lot of it different, but still some the same, and the speed and power in the players and fitness is still a huge thing, and I know that's really taken them a long way this year as well.
They've shown character at times this year as well, Dermot, so they were, if you go to the league final, Armagh, if you look at the Ulster final when they were behind, they were tested during those games, and that seems to stand to them as the road continues for them.
I think so, and I think the biggest thing that I took from this year was the Ulster final. Maybe the last few years, a Donegal team that went 3-4 down in the big games would have maybe crumbled under the pressure, but not once in that Ulster final did you think that Donegal were going to just go away. And I think Jim just put that belief into the players that we're going to go right to the end here, and you could just see them chipping off scores, and you could just feel it around the stadium that this is part of it, this is part of the process, as Jim would say. So definitely, like, you have moments like that there that really does make a team, and the Ulster final I thought was a pivotal moment, in the year for Donegal.
Yeah. You're talking about process. I know Jim uses the words building blocks all the time when he's talking to us guys in the press, and it's developing all the time with them. But back in your time, you just had a really, really enjoyable period under Jim. Can you give us maybe a brief synopsis of what it was like at the time, going through all those big games, winning in All-Ireland, coming again close obviously in 14. Just how special was that period there, man?
It was brilliant. Like, Leo will say the same. It's still probably the best moments in our lives, in sporting terms. I remember this man, we weren't too fond of winter training, and I think it was around 2011, the roads were very icy, and I mind this man trying to put the car off the road so that we wouldn't have to go to training. So there was always that fear at around January, February time. It was going to be a slog, but once you got into the championship mode and you got into the championship months, you really did enjoy it, and it was great then meeting up with the boys. Like, I think that 2012 team still very close, and you know, you can meet each other in the street and you just know that that bond's there. But you know, days like coming on Sunday, All-Ireland semi-finals, Ulster finals, All-Ireland finals, like, they're moments you live for, and you know, you dream of those moments, you know, as a young fella, and we were lucky enough to experience them days. So yeah, hopefully the boys now can add to it on Sunday, you know.
Yep. Big games, big memories. We mentioned that Dublin game in 2014. Some actually enjoyed that more than they did the All-Ireland final, but that's a fixture that sits very, very well, doesn't it, Leo?
Yeah, definitely. It was a big one to topple Dublin that year. You know, personally, it was disappointing then the following out, and then to get bet in the final by Kerry, you know, having played so well. And as the cliche goes again, sometimes you remember the ones too you lose and should have won.
Well, Neil McGee said that to me the time that he retired. I asked him about and he was more or less saying that the ones that they didn't get was stuck more in the memory than the joyous ones. Would that be like yourself?
Yeah, definitely. You hear a lot of sports people saying that over the years, you know, that the hurt will stick with you a lot too. But I suppose, as Brick was saying there, like, I think as you get older, you know, you do realise and appreciate, maybe, you know, people said that to you when you were playing, you'll enjoy it now and this and that. And as a young player and, you know, a young person, you kind of think, oh, well, you know, they're saying this, they're saying that, whatever. But as you do get older and into your years and as the end gets closer to your playing career, you really do think back and see and realise how lucky you are. And I suppose there's not that many in the whole of Ireland that has an All-Ireland medal, and you know, we're very lucky to get it.
Yeah, a couple other men has them from here as well. Marty Boyle is obviously part of the management that you boys are very close with, and the quiet man, Anthony Thompson. He's not here tonight, so you use a full rein to do a bit of slagging if you want now. If you want to tell a story about Anthony Thompson,
Not one bit surprised he's not here.
Well, the only excuse he has is his wife had a baby there in the last few weeks, so we'll let him off.
I remember us going to Dunfanaghy. We were training gym. It was November, December time, remember, and we would be leaving probably around 7 o'clock. So it was grand. We'd pull up to the Thompson's house. 7 o'clock, no sign of Tony. 7:05, no sign. 7:15, no sign. We were getting very agitated in the car because, as usual, me and Leo used to get the blame. But Tony anyway would pull in. But if you were going golfing and you were collecting at 7 o'clock, Tony would be out at 6:30 out with a putter. So that's now.
is he any good at the golf, is he?
Yes, the Thompsons are good at everything they do, right?
Yeah. And Kieran's going not too bad at the minute.
He's going brilliant.
Yeah,
He's going through a mountain of work every game. Hey, that, you know, there's a lot of onus on him up and down the field, and he's chipping in with scores too. Like he's really been now a leader for the club here for a long number of years. But I think he's a leader for Donegal now too.
He's reveling on it, so he's enjoying it. But you know, by the way, the style of play that he has, that he's really bought into it, and he's enjoying his football again.
Yeah, 100%. He's glad for him, you know.
Is going into this next game, maybe having Donegal in a better position. They beat Louth, and it was sort of a routine performance where you seen the ecstasy that Galway had against Dublin. Is Donegal maybe positioned better going into this, do you feel, Dermot?
I think so. I think if you'd said to Armagh, Galway and Donegal at the start of the year that you'd be in the last four together along with Kerry, you know, them three teams would have ripped your hand off for it, like. And I think for Donegal now, like, they're in a position where they're going in against Galway. Galway have put out the All-Ireland champions, and there's massive pressure on Galway to get to that level again on Sunday. And we know ourselves from 2014, like, beating Dublin, it's very hard to get up then to that level again. So I think Donegal are in prime position going in on Sunday, and there's no reason that they, you know, can't get stuck into Galway early doors, really test their mettle to see are they up for the battle again. So yeah, look, I think Donegal are going to land there on Sunday and possibly put in a big performance. It's not going to be easy. This is a serious Galway team. Like, you look at their forward line alone, they've Matthew Tierney, Killian McDade, Maher, and then obviously Comer, Walsh and Finnerty. So they have a serious team, Galway. So there's a lot of fires that Donegal are going to have to put out on Sunday, you know. Yeah.
Is it going to be a sort of different kind of game that we've seen all year, do you expect, Leo, given I suppose the quality that Galway have? As John Gilday said in the DL debates that we had on Monday night with Brendan Devaney, that he expects something different to be sprung by Jim. Are you expecting that?
Yeah, there always is that, you know, that there could be, you know, something new or something. But I think a lot of it'll depend too on the injuries to Galway and how that'll play out. You know, whether the boys will be all right, Shane Walsh and Comer, how, you know, maybe whether they'll be starting, and I suppose planning for, you know, marking those players, and maybe they might not play or they might play. So regardless, you have to plan for them, and I think maybe having a man mark those players will maybe you know, hold back some of our attacking players slightly, you know, having to focus on that a bit. But I think we're in for a good game, you know, and I feel like it's maybe, hopefully if it starts off that way, it could go down to a shootout fairly early and get loads of scores and loads of transitions, you know, with scores at the end and counter-attacking.
I think the general feeling around Donegal is there's no doubt they are really, really fit. So they are, I mean, coming down the straight, if Galway do have these injuries, we don't know to what extent they are. We understand that all these men are going to play. They're not going to be 100%. That'll go obviously in Donegal's favour down the straight there.
Definitely, but again, I think the Galway bench done serious damage too the last day against Dublin. I think they showed that they have a bench that can, you know, turn a game. So, and likewise, I think the Donegal bench as well has really, you know, impacted this year. Like the likes of Aaron Doherty's been brilliant when he's come into the fore. Like so. It could come down to the last 5-10 minutes whenever there's a, you know, a change made, and it could come down to a kick of the ball with that. So, you know, both benches are strong in their own terms, and Jim has been going with players one day and then changing it the next. So Porrick will probably be at home wondering who's going to come on. I know there's a few lads didn't get on the last day, and you wouldn't be one bit surprised then, even if one starts the next day, because Jim can throw up a few surprises on a big day. So, you know, anything's possible.
Psychological warfare at its best. I think that's the best way to describe it, isn't it? Particularly between the two coaches and the style that they have. Standout players this year. Who's really, really caught your eye, Leo?
I suppose having played with a lot of them, I kind of knew how good they were. You know, a lot of them weren't meeting their potential as such. But I wouldn't like naming a player. I think as a collective, that the team has really, really improved, every single player, and I think maybe that's what had been missing. It was that collective, you know, effort as a team, you know, working together and creating scores and then the effort, like. So I think, you know, I've got a politician's answer here now, but I wouldn't like naming one singular player, because I think that's why they're doing so well. It's been such a team effort, you know.
Yeah. Just before I finally wrap it up with you two guys and how you think the game is going to go. Obviously, club-wise, another big year coming up for you men looking to defend this Dr. Maguire Cup, and it just seems to be all the time you have to play St. Eunan's in the group stage before you get down to the nitty-gritty. So it does, doesn't it, Dermot?
Definitely, Oisin. As I always say to Leo, I don't, you know, whenever you're going for a championship in Donegal, you want to be up against St. Eunan's, as simple as that. If you want a championship even without playing Eunan's, you're like, oh, you know what I mean? Yeah. So you always want St. Eunan's, you know, in them big games. There's been such a good rivalry there this past 25 years. So it's a healthy, you know, rivalry as well. So yeah, it's going to be a big game down here. There'll be a big crowd down again. So for us too now, it's just a matter of getting the heads down, and you know, we're enjoying the training this year. We're trying to keep up with these young boys. It's not easy, but Leo there's a dodgy calf and I have a dodgy back, so we're just milking every last drop out of it. So no, it's great. It's great now. So we're looking forward to the championship now. Yeah. Well, when this inter-county season is over, Kieran, Jack, Owen, Kevin, and Charles, no doubt, are going to come back in top class shape. So they are. That's a cert. Even though they're not with you in training, Leo, do you still see the hunger within the group that you just want to retain this cup again? Yeah, I think so. Now there's, you know, we're lucky in that we have younger players coming through every lucky years, you know, and those young players kind of push the whole thing on, you know, they push the older players on to be better and vice versa. And like Finbar Rorty's coming in this year, you know, and he's a big lift, and, you know, that's what you need really, a kind of a competitiveness within the group also, and I think that's what's been good for us in the last lucky years as well. And when the boys come back, then they'll give it another boost. So no, it's been going well, and hopefully we'll see how it goes. Okay, well, right, back to Sunday. Call it on Sunday, Leo. I think Donegal by a point. Okay. Dermot? That was very short, Leo. I was going to say, you're going to give...
Are you going to give us an extended answer?
Call it.
Yeah. Give us a more expansive answer there, Dermot.
No, look at Oisin. I think it's going to be very tight. I hope it's not cagey. I hope it's an All-Ireland semi-final. There's plenty of scores. I think the way both teams will set up, I think you will get good transitions within the game. So I think the first 10-15 minutes you'll probably tell how the game's going to go. And as I said, Donegal have a lot of big man marking jobs to do on Sunday. And likewise with Galway, like Donegal have some fantastic forwards. Oisin, the two O'Donnells, Kieran starting to really, the last day in Croke Park, that left foot was starting to get hot. So hopefully Kieran and Ray McHugh, I think we need big games from them big players on Sunday if we are to get over the line. So it's going to be a massive battle. Kickouts, Gleeson seems to go along with a lot of his kickouts. Sean, obviously, we know how good Sean is. So it's going to be very interesting first 10-15 minutes, see what the matchups are. But hopefully down the stretch, you just feel that Jim will just have enough to get the boys over the line. But no doubt about it, Galway are going to be hurting from 2 years ago. And, when you lose in All-Ireland, the hurt is there. And I'm sure that they'll have that in the back of their minds. But Donegal by 2, Oisin, hopefully.
Okay. Give a round of applause to your All-Ireland winners from 2012. Dermot Malloy and Naomh Conaill, many thanks for coming up and joining us. And I thought they were going to give Vantley Thompson more of a touch than what they did. But there you go. Anyway, we're live here from Naomh Conaill GAA Club as we look forward to the All-Ireland semi-final. Donegal back in the last 4 for the first time in 10 years. And still to come on the programme, we're going to be joined by 2 men that won it back in '92. On the way, we'll be hearing from Anthony Malloy and Tony Boyle. Join us for more after these.
Highland Sport is brought to you by Michael Murphy Sports and Leisure, now stocking the Donegal GAA Western Range at michaelmurphyssports.ie.
What makes us love our county so fiercely, despite all the summers of hurt? What lifts us back up year after year after year? What stirs such passion in our hearts and brings us out in our thousands? It's something intangible, deep in our veins. It's our county. It's our people. It's in our blood. AIB, the toughest. Proud sponsors of the All-Ireland Senior Football Championship.
If you're heading off on holidays, why not treat yourself to a pair of designer sunglasses? At Louis Walsh Opticians, you'll find a full range of top-name sunglasses at great prices, so you'll look your best while your eyes are properly protected. For a sight test with an OCD 3D scan, contact lenses or a driver's sight report, Louis Walsh Opticians, Letterkenny's longest established and family-run opticians, are located in the Courtyard Shopping Centre. Call 91 21000.
Get ahead of back to school this year at Dunnes Stores. From prepping for their very first day to refreshing their uniform, now's the perfect time to shop schoolwear for the adventures ahead. Pick up a 3-pack of playproof polos from just €5 and knitted school jumpers from just €3.75. Stock up on essentials like Easy Care joggers from just €5 and sweatshirts from €3.75. Back to school at Dunnes Stores for little ones with big schedules. Shop in-store and online now. Terms and conditions apply.
Today, we are all pioneers, standing at the cusp of a bold new frontier, the era of electrification. At Lexus, we know this landscape well, with a luxurious all-electrified range, including the stunning ES Hybrid Saloon and the award-winning RX plug-in hybrid SUV. Start your journey with us today at lexus.ie. Lexus. Experience amazing.
Your local dealer is Lexus Letterkenny.
Highland Radio Time Checks brought to you by EirGrid, the operator and developer of Ireland's electricity grid. EirGrid, powering up communities, powering up Ireland. The time is...
For all your pharmacy needs, we'll be delighted to serve you at the new Brennan's Pharmacy in Letterkenny, now open at the Forte Retail Park across from the new Dunn Stores and Costa. Easy to get to with easy free parking. We're here for all your prescription needs, medicines and pharmacist advice, with an extensive range of skincare, vitamins, supplements, gifts and much more. Brennan's Pharmacy Letterkenny is open from 9 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. Monday to Friday, 9 to 6 on Saturday. So for all your pharmacy needs and and advice you can trust. With easy free parking, drop into the new Brennan's Pharmacy Letterkenny. Call us on 074 970 8060. We're here for you.
Atlantic Travel. Bonded, licensed and trusted in Ireland. Expert advice on your world adventure. Search for sun, cities or a last-minute escape to sandy shores. Get away this summer with tantalising offers, luxury resorts and family favourites. Free kids places still available. The offers won't last forever, but the memories will. Book now with a trusted travel agent. Atlantic Travel, Letterkenny.
The life of a Charlie's chip is never dull. Once they're selected, they're off to Charlie's, where they lose their jacket, have a nice wash, and get into shape. Before going out, there's always a few nerves, totally unnecessary, because, let's face it, they always go down well. Enjoy Charlie's chips to sit in or take away, daily, from 12 to 8 at Pierce Road, Letterkenny. When the hunger hits, pull into Charlie's.
Change is the only constant in business. So whether you're starting or growing your business, our dedicated business teams will always be here to support you every step of the way. Because the best businesses never stop beginning. Search Bank of Ireland Business. Bank of Ireland. Begin. Bank of Ireland is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
Highland Sport is brought to you by Michael Murphy Sports and Leisure, now stocking the Donegal GAA Western Range at michaelmurphysports.ie.
And you're welcome back here to Davy Brennan Park, Naomh Conaill GAA Club, as we look forward to the All-Ireland semi-final. And we've got a room full of Naomh Conaill and Donegal supporters. And they have come from far and wide. Danny and Elaine Swinney, who are here, home from Australia. Hi guys, good to see you. And we also better mention Terence Gallagher, who's not here tonight, but he's listening in Vienna, and he says he'll be home on Sunday. So there you go, good to hear you. And three people as well we want to mention. Club member Pat Craig was buried earlier this week, and it's a really sad week for the family. But Damien, Imelda and Maria have come to join us, so it's lovely to see you here. I know it's a tough week for you, but lovely to have you here this evening. Galway against Donegal in the All-Ireland semi-final this Sunday. Two men that know a thing or two about playing football, winning All-Irelands, Ulster titles, and probably games against Galway as well. Anthony Malloy and Tony Boyle, 92 All-Ireland winners. Welcome along. Tony, how many times did you play Galway in the past? What was it like in your playing days?
I don't think I ever played Galway in Championship, but we'd have played in the league.
It's a good start to the interview, isn't it? I didn't play Galway.
Listen, the one thing about Galway, they're always a good footballing team, and they always like to play football, you know. I suppose the one thing that you'd pick out this year with that Galway team, Porrick seems to have gone with a lot of big men, especially across the half-forward line, you know, men that are 6'2", 6'3". I was looking early on, and I see that, you know, 11 of the All-Ireland team of 2 years ago started against Dublin, and Johnny Heaney came off the bench. So, you know, you have a team going into a semi-final that has a fair bit of experience, played in the All-Ireland 2 years ago, and you know they found a couple of good defenders. Of a wee cornerback, Johnny McCarthy, who seems to be their man marker, and of course that Johnny Maher that done a great job in Fenton. You know, so. Galway's it's going to be a big task for us on Sunday. You know, they probably have that wee bit more experience than us. You know, it's a strange one. I was nearly thinking during the week, would we have been? It's strange to say, would we have been better playing Dublin in a semi-final where all the pressure would have been on Dublin? All of a sudden now we're playing Galway that we probably didn't think we'd be playing in, and we're probably we'll call them favourites, but we're probably slight favourites. You know, with the teams that we've beaten, but it's a big game, but I don't think it'll be as open as Galway teams have been in the past. It'll probably be more cagey.
Who's the more pressure on when you're talking about pressure on teams? Who's going to be feeling the most pressure going into this one, do you think?
I would probably have to say Porrick, Joyce. You know, he's probably it's at least his third year or his fourth year, you know, and it probably could be his last year. There's probably a couple of the players that are, you know, heading the wrong side of 30, some of them already the wrong side of 30, and listen, that can be a good thing at times. You know, I remember back, you know, in '92 we had a lot of boys in a similar situation. You know, myself and Noel came in at the start of our career, but you had a lot of boys that were on the other side of 30, and the way they treated it was every game. Well, that time it was knockout. Every game could be your last game ever playing for your county. You know, so that gives you extra motivation. But I think there's a wee bit more pressure in Galway because obviously they lost All Ireland 2 years ago. You know, in Porrick, you know, very good manager, very good player in the past, high profile, and you know, it's obviously, you know, Jim's back for his second year. He's already done it. And he's at the start of another hopefully 3, 4, 5 year term. So there's not as much pressure. We're probably ahead of where we expected. It's nearly unbelievable to think that we're heading into a semi-final, but I think there's more pressure in Galway come Sunday.
Just before we talk to Anthony, better mention Raymond Sweeney because he's took over training for you. You left the senior ladies and left Raymond to it. So
I the senior ladies. So I'm in charge of the senior ladies. In fact, I have a bigger task than Jim has the weekend because we're playing Termon ladies in the league semi-final. So I'll need to come up. I might ring Jim or text him to see can he sit on the defensive plan for me for Saturday night. But Raymond's looking after things down Dunlow there this evening.
Yeah, you get a nice warm welcome here. When the Dunlow boys leave their own parish and come down in here. On the field it can be feisty enough at times, but wasn't too bad this evening, was it?
No, not too bad. Myself and Jim would have clashed a couple of times, and club and that. We would have beaten Glenties maybe I think in a Division 1B. I would say these two men were probably too young they might have been at the start of their career. It was a 1B final. But obviously, listen, to be fair to Naomh Conaill have gone to a new level, you know, and it's something that we're obviously trying to work hard to close the gap. And you know, they've been phenomenal what they've done over this last number of years, you know, and they're the standard bearers, you know. When you have to give credit to the likes of Leo and Brick and Anthony and Marty and the older boys that are still there, you know. I was watching them. Their minors were down on Monday night playing our boys, and our boys done well for a good 40 minutes. We lost young Luke Clerkin, who's a big player for us, and Glenties pulled away in the end up. So listen, that's the level that everyone's trying to get to, you know, and we're hoping to get there in the future.
Your captain was sitting beside you, Anthony Malloy, made you 2 All-Ireland winner. Councillor Malloy as well.
Thanks,
back in the seat. This is your electoral area, so it is.
Yeah.
You always come in here smiling now, so you do.
Oh, look what I do.
Did he get many votes in here?
I be here a lot. I be here a lot. Oh, look at I've been here, like, and it's great to be back here this evening. Same kind of Naomh Conaill here, and you know, I for every bit of knowledge I have, like, I learned it up in the comprehensive school there as well. Like, I spent 5 years there, like, so from 1974 to 79, and. The comp at that time wouldn't have had, you know, any success really at Gaelic football, like, and we had a good bunch of lads between Ardra and Glenties and Fintown and Litcher, like, and we won a lot of championships, you know, within Donegal, like, from under 15, under 16, under 17, and under 19 as well at that time, you know.
Yeah. You were part of the selection committee, moving on to the Donegal situation that went looking for Jim McGuinness to get back. And where we sit now today, it's remarkable the turnaround in Donegal football in such a very, very short period of time under him, Anthony. Was that a difficult process at the time to get Jim back at the helm?
No, first of all, I was elated, you know, to be asked on to the board, like, and suppose, you know, just mind this time last year up on Uri, like, it was we were at a very, very low ebb, and things weren't looking that good, like, and. So we were asked, myself and the wee man, and to come in on the panel, like, and first man I thought of was Jim McGuinness, and we all know what he done, like, when he came in, like, in 2010, and I would know Jim. I would have been in touch with Jim anyway, like, since, you know, the 2014 and that, and I would have met him here and there, and be always picking his brain, like, he's a very interesting fella, you know. You could talk all night to Jim, but I was delighted, and I think. Jim was in Portugal, I think, when we tried to contact him, you know, on holidays, and I think Jim had his mind made up to come back, you know. Yeah. I think he wanted to come back, you know, himself, and we would.
I think that was off the back of the players meeting him that day.
Exactly, yeah, and I think Jim had his mind made up, and it was great, like, and you know, what he has done, like coming from such a low base, like, and we were not in a great place last year, you know, and what he has achieved in that there, and but you know what I have found about Jim has always been a proud Naomh Conaill man. He's been a proud Donegal man, and he's always been so full of belief, you know, within himself as well, you know.
Yeah, I remember Mark McHugh that day going, "We don't sort this out now. We could find ourselves in Division 3 football." And been lost in the wilderness, but thankfully Jim is back and he's doing a good job. And
just to add to that, like there were 8 or 9 names in, like, at that time as well, like, and to be fair, like, they just weren't up to the standard that we were looking for, because, you know, at that time, and you know, and that's no slight on anybody, and we're so lucky, like, and we're delighted that we have Jim on board. There's no doubt about that.
It's been a phenomenal year, so it has.
Unbelievable year, like, and I think Jim was way ahead of where he thought he would be himself, you know.
Do you think that, Anthony?
Well, I do remember around the time that he was appointed, he says, "I'm not coming back to move up the bar." He says, "I'm going back to 1, you know, and that was Sam, suppose, again, and he's down now to the last 4, you know, but he has that sort of belief in himself anyway, you know, and I see that now, like, and look at, you know, it's a massive weekend for us at the weekend, like a great weekend, you know, but you know, we couldn't visualise that this time last year whatsoever, you know, the turnaround that, you know, that he's made here.
Yeah, it's been phenomenal, and there's been some super performances this year. What's sticking out for you since Jim came on, particularly in championship football?
Look at every game has been enjoyable, like, and I think the game that stood out for me was the Tyrone game at Ballybofey. It was an unbelievable display that evening. We beat Tyrone that evening, like, for 70 minutes of delightful football to watch.
That was the All-Ireland Series game?
Yeah, it was delightful to watch that evening. I came over the road that evening, I guess, you know, we are on to something here, you know, and that'd probably one of us to stand out. Like, every game you're sort of nervous, like, and I think the Louth game, I think at the back of our minds we always knew we were going to win that game, you know, but now this is a different game on Sunday.
Yeah, I mentioned to the guys about our Donegal well placed coming into this one, Tony, given the fact that they had to just go through a routine performance to get over Louth, because they weren't really challenged in that one. Is that a better way to be going into this one?
Yeah, possibly. Possibly, Oisin, you know, Jim probably got a chance to take a look at some more players, you know, go down the stretch against Louth when Owen Ban got the goal, took a wee bit of the pressure off. But again, I'm sure Jim's looking at it that we conceded 18 scores against Louth. And that's something that'll probably concern him. You know,
but the fact maybe that was that type of game, is that fair enough to say, Tony? Because it didn't have to set up so defensively.
Yeah, probably.
He sort of knew, and you were going to outscore them all day long anyway.
Yeah, probably, yeah. But you know, knowing Jim, that'll still be a bugbear for him that the team give up 18 scores. You know, because of the standards that he sets. You know, and I was listening to Brick on the way up on the radio, and you know, he made a good point about 2014 when, you know, Donegal had to get to a real high level to beat Dublin in a semi-final and didn't get there again against Kerry. You know, so that question is out there. Can Galway do it? Can Galway back it up with another big performance? But it's strange because, you know, I didn't watch the game live. We were down at Fela that Saturday, but I listened to the radio, and the wee man was actually in the RT studio, and the way that they spoke, you know, that day that Dublin should have been 10 points up, and this game was going to be a cakewalk, you know. Like, so to be fair to Galway, there's a massive turnaround, but you'd maybe ask the question, you know, were Dublin really, you know, has the hunger really been there? That's why I was saying, you know, to be fair play to Galway, they caught them. You know, would we have been better if Dublin had to get over that, and they would have been raging hot favourites going on Sunday? Maybe we ambushed them, but listen, it is where it is. As Anthony says, you know, at the start of the year, you know, I was nearly happy when we got promotion back to Division 1. We won a Division 2 title, and you're going into the Ulster Championship, and you're saying, you know, if we can get, you know, a couple of good performances and see where it takes us. But Did
you expect them to beat Derry? Did you expect them to beat Derry?
No, and to be fair, I met Jim on the Wednesday night. I was involved with the county minor girls, and we happened to be training in the Centre of Excellence, and the seniors were training, and I was coming out of the clubhouse area. We were after eating, and Jim was going in and just bumped into him and having a bit of crack, of course, asking him, well, there's no point in asking him anything, he's not going to tell you anyway, but I was just asking him in general, you know, how things are looking. And to be fair, Jim was just he was just so sincere, you know, about, you know, he was just saying, Tony, we have a savage amount of work done. We have a savage amount of work done. He says, and if the boys bring it on Saturday, he says, we'll not be far away. And I was driving down the road and I was buzzing going down the road thinking that, and then I was thinking then, you know, was he trying to convince me or was he trying to convince himself? But the performance showed that they had the work done, you know, and like that was the standout, you know. And I have to say, I didn't expect it. I met a few of the old Derry players in the early 90s and in the pub beforehand were having a bit of a crack, and I genuinely said, you know, I was sort of half joking. I says, they were on, would you come back in for a pint afterwards? And I says, well, if we come within 10 points, yes, you know, we'll come back in for one. Needless to say, Oisin and I was straight back to the bar afterwards, and we didn't leave till 11 o'clock that night. But to me, that was the highlight. And you know, to go on and won, you know, I've said it. You know, I've said it to Jim. I think this year's Ulster Championship was the greatest championship that any Donegal team has won. You know, to beat the National League champions. You know, to beat Tyrone, who were in an All Ireland final or All Ireland champions 4 years ago, and to beat Armagh, who've been, you know, one of the strongest teams in Ulster this last couple of years. To me, it's by far the best, because, you know, even back in our day, you know, the Ulster Championship is very, very hard to win, as the boys know, but there's always one game in there it's not a gimme, but you're sort of expected to win it. Like the three teams that Donegal beat this year, you know, it was unbelievable. To me, it surpassed what Jim has done in 2012 already.
You mentioned Armagh, and obviously beat them in the league final, beat them in the Ulster final. Meeting Armagh in an All-Ireland final could be a reality come the weekend, Anthony. We can't forget about the other semi-final. Like, it could be an all-Ulster affair here.
No, look, without a doubt. Like, I'm going up early on Saturday, and I'd be totally supporting Armagh. Like, it'd just be great. But, you know, we've seen the dominance of Kerry's and the Dubliners, like, and would it not be great to have two Ulster teams like on an All-Ireland final? Now, that could be the bananas. You know, we've gone to the well twice against them, you know, and you know, we know what they're like, and it'll be another difficult day out for us, you know, to overcome.
We owe Kerry one too, but
I know that too. Like, we owe Kerry as well. Like, but look at, you know, it's great to have two Ulster teams in the last four, you know, because of the dominance of the Dubliners and that there in the last while. Like, and you know, I spoke to Jim briefly about a week ago, like, and the last thing he said to me, Malloy, it's down now to whoever wants it most coming down the stretch, like, and it will be going down the stretch, like.
Yep. We've seen, obviously, we look for games, and you want big players to step up and big games, but the way Peter Morgan has played this year has been sensational. Ryan McHugh missed a year and came back and is playing sensational football, and the style of football that Donegal are playing at the moment, both of those are key. Are they going to be targeted by Galway when they're doing their tapes and they're watching what's going on? That's the like of player that Galway could probably target. So there's a few more that you'd be looking to step up on Sunday, aren't they?
Well, look, you know, when you come this far here, you know, you can't be dependent on 2 or 3 or 4 players like to do the business. You know, you're looking at, I think the lad said it there, you know, you're looking at the 15 starting, everybody has to be on song, and plus the men that come in as well, like. So, you know, you just hope that it happens for them all, like, because I do know from my own experience, like, and some days it doesn't happen for you, you know, and there's a lonely place to be, Crow Park, if that's the way it is. So you'd be hoping that we have a great 70 minutes, like, from all the lads, because there will be more than the 15 involved here. And look, what we all know about the Kieran, you know, Thompsons and the Langas, you know, we've seen them, you know. But the part of the Morgans and that, they've stepped in, and it's great to see the likes of Ryan, you know, McHugh and that there back to his best again. Like, but we need everybody. Like, we need Oisin and Gallen. We need them all. Like, from the goalkeeper, we need Patton. We just need everybody on song now for the next 2 days. Like, you know, but sure, it's a great place to be. Like,
oh, fantastic! And Peter Morgan, no doubt's on the way to getting an All-Star. But Kieran Murby, one of the finds of the championship. What do you think?
Absolutely. You know, I wouldn't have known much about Kieran. It's funny, I actually ended up being at the McKenna Cup final. You know, when we were coming back from a challenge match with the Donegal minor girls, and I happened to be sitting beside John Harn, and I was asking John about him, and it just shows you how much John knows about football. John reckons he's not ready for county football yet. But Kieran...
Huh? John will be coming back at you on Twitter later on when you say
like that over here. To be fair, Kieran's been phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. But I suppose he's Jim's type of player. He's a savage athlete. But listen, what Kieran has kicked on this year, like, Kieran now can go up and kick scores, which is brilliant. But I think it was mentioned before, you know, we might have to set up slightly different because of the scoring threat that the Galway possess, you know, with Finnerty, with Comer and Walsh. Comer's predominantly, you know, a ball winner and a very good ball winner, but obviously Walsh and Finnerty is, I was looking earlier on, you know, that's where most of their scores coming from. So if you can keep them, even though Finnerty didn't score against Dublin, you know, if you can keep Walsh quiet, you know, you're halfway there, and that's going to be a big call for Jim to see who he puts on, because listen, it's all right going, you know, trying to put forwards on the back foot, but good forwards will know where to find space and that, you know. So it'll be interesting to see, will Jim go with, you know, maybe a couple of out and out defenders, or will he stick to the tried and tested, you know. But I think a massive thing on Sunday is Jason McGee being back, you know, because that physical.
Will he be back, but?
Well, I actually met a man the day that was speaking to a man that was speaking to another man, and they reckon Jason's good to go. But listen, we all hope that Jason's good to go, because I you know, he's had a phenomenal season. The turnaround in his performances in the middle of the field, you know, and the Ulster Championship was, listen, we wouldn't have won an Ulster Championship without Jason. We were probably lucky that maybe we didn't need him against Louth, and hopefully Jim rested him, but it'll be vital that we have Jason for that physical presence around the middle. Plus, he's a very, very good footballer.
Okay. Call it then on Sunday. Maybe a wee bit longer answer than Leo gave us, not just 2 or 3 words.
I'm very, very nervous about it. But I think I'm nervous in the fact that at the start of the year, you know, Jim coming back was brilliant, and you were thinking, we see what Jim does in year 1, and can he get to year and 3? So we want, as I said, delighted to be back in Division 1. Next thing we want also, I'm more nervous now because we're 70 minutes away from the biggest day, and we've not been there too often. You're 70 minutes away from an All-Ireland final, so I'm probably a wee bit more nervous. That's where the nerves coming from. I think Galway are a decent side, the physicality and the very good forwards, but what Jim's done this year, what the boys have done this year, Jim is just, he has that magic touch, and he's had his 2 weeks now to plan for Galway. I think it's going to be tight. I hope it's not. I hope we canter through, and it'll be brilliant. But I think it will be tight. But Donegal will be 3.
Okay, right. Get the crystal ball out there, Anthony.
Look at. I think. Well, first of all, I think the pressure is definitely on Galway, because this Galway team under Pádraig Joyce has underachieved. You know, there's no doubt about that there. Like, because of the amount of talent that they had. You know, and I know they had their injuries and everything else. I think the first 10 minutes will be a fact-finding mission like that. They mightn't be that pretty to watch, like, but I do think that our younger legs and what we have seen so far, like, and how we finish, I think we'll get there by about 2 points. Oisin, we'll give them 2 points.
Okay,
I'll be very happy to take it.
Both going for a Donegal one. Are we going for a Donegal one in here? Are we? Yeah. Give a round of applause to your 92 All-Ireland winners, Tony Boyle and Anthony Molloy. Thanks for coming in, and we're coming to the end of the programme now. We may miss news at 8 o'clock, but we've got something very special for you coming up before we do wrap up. Just to remind our listeners once again that we will, of course, have full live match commentary on Highland on Sunday. We'll be joined by Martin McHugh and Brendan Devaney, plus a few others up in the press area in Croke Park, with the build-up from 3:30 and the full match live as well to come from 4 o'clock. And you can tune in to Greg Hughes' 9 till noon show tomorrow morning as well from 11 o'clock, because we're going to have more on the big semi-final. Martin will be in studio alongside Greg and myself. We'll also be linking up with Galway Bay FM, and we're going to do a joint hour. Ollie Turner, if you heard the commentary of the man that literally lost his life when the full-time whistle went, that's Ollie Turner in Galway Bay FM. It was brilliant, so it was for them. Brilliant commentary by Ollie. Even got Taylor Swift mentioned in the middle of it as well. He's going to join us in the programme, and we'll be speaking with a former Galway player, plus a few people who do have links between the two counties as well. So before we finish up, my thanks to everybody who attended here tonight. The main woman, Muriel Higgerty, she helped organise tonight, so she did as well. So thanks, Muriel. And she has the tea and the buns and the brownies, and Linda was helping her out, so we're all going to be well fed too. Our guests tonight, Seamus O'Malley and Peter McKelvey. Seamus, Galway native. Peter, of course, the club chairman. Our All-Ireland winners from 2012, Dermot Brick Malloy and Leo McClune, thanks for coming in. Well, they didn't have far to come. They only come down the road, so they did, the two of them. And the two of them in great shape, preparing for the club championship. And, of course, as we mentioned, Anthony Malloy and Tony Boyle as well. Joe Dex is here doing the engineering, and we're going to leave you now with a fantastic performance to come, with a brilliant song. Now, this young lady, originally 4 Masters, maiden name Carr. She got mixed up with the McClunes. Bríd McClune is her name, and she's here to sing Jim McGuinness's favourite song, to play us out this evening. Give a big round of applause and a big welcome for Bríd McClune with Destination Donegal.
As I stand beside the starboard bow and watch the ocean foam, as I view each new horizon, I grow further from my home. I'm sailing on a foreign ship that's bound for Montreal, and I'll view the world and make my destination Donegal. I would make my way from Malin, from Bundoran to Rafo, or Port Saling down to Killybegs, to Creasla or Dunlow. I'd wander on by Barnesmore Gap, on every one I'd go, then beyond the blue Stack Mountains to the home of Donegal. Oh, Donegal, I'll miss you, and I'll never understand why I left you for your foreign lands against my heart's command. Whatever fortune comes my way, whatever may befall, sure I know I'll make my final destination Donegal.
Brilliant stuff indeed. Thanks to Bríd McClune. A stunning performance. Thanks for joining us tonight, Bríd. Thanks to everybody who's here. Best of luck, Donegal. Up Donegal. Good luck at the weekend.
Highland Sport